The unfortunate reality for the Houston Rockets is this team has become an absolute mess. With no real direction or knowing what's next, the current state of the Houston Rockets is absolute chaos. And as a Rockets fan, I will be the first to tell you that I would not mind it all if this team hit a hard reset. Just smash the reset button. Let's start looking towards the future. I'm a James Harden guy. I want to see James Harden playing basketball for a very long time at a very high level on a very good team. As it stands right now with the Houston Rockets, they are kind of in no man's land. Realistically, I'm not sure what moves the Rockets could make to get better other than getting absolutely lucky. This is a team that really does not have the assets to go out and get another player. They're already down a ton of draft picks. We see Daryl Morey go all in season after season. And to be fair, the Rockets almost did it. They were close. They were very close. The odds were heavily stacked against them, but it didn't matter. What mattered was an injury to the Rockets' second best player, Chris Paul. And the Rockets missing a ridiculous amount of threes. It still bothers me to this day. I don't know how they can miss that many consecutive threes. Looking at the box score from that game still gives me nightmares. Anyways, that's a whole lot of talk to say the Rockets failed. They lost. They never won a championship. And those stories like this are fun to tell. They really don't matter for anything. Before the start of this season, the Rockets would acquire Russell Westbrook. And Russell Westbrook, though he would start slow, he would become acclimated to the Rockets system. And it almost felt like Houston was his city. He got going in a major way. And then don't get me started when the Rockets really went all in on Westbrook, traded away Clint Capella, and acquired Robert Covington. Small ball would be unleashed. The Rockets will look devastating. The dynamic duo of Harden and Westbrook were breaking records. The spacing around Russell Westbrook and James Harden was so tough to cover. And the way they played, I don't care what anybody says, I think it was fun basketball. But as we fast forward to the NBA playoffs, I feel like everybody would forget how good Russell Westbrook really is. Not was, still is. And let's just say there have been some rumblings around the league about Westbrook and Harden possibly splitting up. And Westbrook, he has some suitors, regardless of how you feel about his contract. Before we go any further, be sure to subscribe and turn on notifications. You will not want to miss another Get Like Coop video. And that's facts. If you guys could do me a giant favor, drop a like on this video right now. It tells YouTube you like my content, it shows me you like my content, and it helps me grow. Also, if you have been getting recommended a lot of my content or just find yourself watching my videos, just go ahead and drop that subscription. Again, it helps out so much. I've been streaming and I've also been getting ready to really get going on my NFL channel. So if you guys want to check either of those out, the links will be in the description below. Now, when it comes to Russell Westbrook and the Houston Rockets, James Harden, it's just really unfortunate that it seems like the duo didn't really work out yet, because you have James Harden, phenomenal all-NBA, legendary type player, at least in my opinion, that can really do anything on the floor when it comes to offense. And then you have Russell Westbrook, who's a guy that really needs the ball in his hands, especially because he can't shoot. When the Rockets made the trade, I don't think they were prepared for Russell Westbrook to shoot the ball as bad as he has this season and in spurts in the playoffs. I mean, he was flat out horrific, to say the least, shooting the basketball. And James Harden excels at finding open players. Well, if you can't shoot and you're not a big, you're really going to slow down the Rockets offense, because the bigs that can't shoot, at least they're big time lob targets, great finishers around the basket. Not saying Westbrook isn't, but I'm sure you guys understand what I'm saying. Now, when it comes to the New York Knicks, we've been seeing a lot about LaMelo possibly going to NY, and we've been hearing a lot of talk about the Knicks possibly trading for a star. Now, unfortunately, the Knicks haven't had the greatest shake of things when it comes to acquiring star talent. As a matter of fact, they actually recently lost Kristaps Porzingis, but everything about the Kristaps trade wouldn't be absolutely terrible because they would get some assets back that could help them going forward in this draft. If I'm the New York Knicks, I think strongly about using some of what I acquired from the Kristaps trade to trade up and draft LaMelo Ball. And if I have to trade future picks, then so be it. I think LaMelo and NY are absolutely perfect. When it comes to LaMelo Ball, he is an unreal talent. If you believe in your player development, you have to go ahead and draft him. If you believe he can develop regardless of player development, you have to go ahead and draft him. I would love to see LaMelo in a big market. I don't normally say this about players, but I think, honestly, when it comes to LaMelo, the bigger the market, the better. This is somebody that has always shined when the lights were the brightest. There are a lot of people who are very down on LaMelo because they watched him in high school. They didn't watch the NBL. He's not the same player he was in high school. I watched every NBL game. He is much more of a passer now than a scorer, but it's scary because he's still such a high level scorer. He's also a great rebounder. I think he's going to be somebody that's going to be on triple double watch the second he enters the NBA. Now, LaMelo can be a better scorer or he can be a better passer. It's really what you want from him or how he feels like playing that game. Now, reportedly, one source says the Knicks have LaMelo and James Wiseman as two players they absolutely love. I don't think Wiseman is going to fall to the Knicks. I think it's unlikely LaMelo falls, but I think the Knicks would be much more likely to trade up for LaMelo opposed to Wiseman. And when it comes to James Wiseman, I'm sure they do love him, but you already have Mitchell Robinson. Of course, I say always go best player available, but that would have to be a little frustrating if nothing else for Mitchell Robinson if the Knicks were somehow able to get Wiseman. Now, Wiseman is an absurd talent, so again, if you can get him, I say you have to do it. LaMelo has said the Knicks are one of the only teams to talk to him. The other team that has talked with LaMelo, the Golden State Warriors. Kind of scary, right? But also, if you're a Knicks fan, hey, at least there's only one other team that has talked with him. Now, I've also been seeing that the Knicks are thinking about trading back unless Wiseman or LaMelo fall to 8. Speaking of trades, I have also been seeing a lot of rumors that are linking Russell Westbrook to the Knicks. Some people believe Westbrook would embrace playing in the Big Apple, the fashion capital of the world, a West Coast guy. Westbrook's top hobby is fashion. The Knicks reportedly are open to taking on a big contract like Russell Westbrook or Chris Paul. Possibly the most important report regarding Westbrook to New York is this one, saying that Westbrook saw New York as a welcome landing spot last summer when OKC was talking about teams and potential trades. So, Westbrook possibly going to NY would be amazing. If you put Westbrook on his own team, you let him do his own thing, he's going to elevate your team. Of course, I would rather the Knicks go out and get young talent as opposed to trading with the Houston Rockets to get Russell Westbrook. But if the Knicks have something else lined up so where they can get another star player, then this would be somewhat interesting. But of course, I'm not sure how realistic all of this is. I want you guys to be the New York Knicks for a second. Would you try to go out and draft a player, or are you trading for Russell Westbrook, Chris Paul, or some other star if they become available? Part of me wonders what Westbrook's true value is right now because it has to be at an all-time low. In the contract that Westbrook has, that's probably sinking his value even more. But if the Rockets were able to get rid of Russell Westbrook, to just get rid of that contract, get some assets back, possibly a pick from the Knicks or another team, and they went out and traded James Harden, they could end up getting a pretty decent haul to restart their future. When we look at the Western Conference, we can probably name 6 or 7 teams that are going to have a drastic improvement and be better than the Houston Rockets if they decided to run it back with James Harden and Russell Westbrook. Let me know down in the comments what teams you think would be better than the Rockets if they truly did decide to run it back. I think it would be really unfair to put the new Rockets GM in a position to win now instead of start setting things up for the long term. With that being said, the Rockets might still be trying to go for it. There are reports that the Rockets are interested in trading for Joel Embiid, and everything is available except James Harden. Now, my first thought is, if James Harden isn't available, how in the world could the Rockets possibly get Joel Embiid? If you could put a trade together in the comments below, please do it, because I would be interested in knowing what a package for Joel Embiid looks like coming from the Rockets that does not involve James Harden. Just for fun, if you're the 76ers, are you even doing Embiid for Harden straight up? Let me know. I'm GetLikeCoop. Be sure to click the video on the screen right now. Watch my latest video from yesterday. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'm going to see y'all in the next one.